Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go over my monthly expenses for the month of May 2021 as a single expat living in the Philippines. Stick around. Okay guys, so I decided to go ahead and do a video as a single expat living in the Philippines, and this is recently, and this is in the month of May 2021, and I decided to do it as an expat single living in a condo somewhat in the city of Cebu, kind of on the outskirts. I'll go into that in more detail in a second. But for me, as a single guy, I think it's better that you actually live in the city or maybe outside the city as far as dating goes, and type of lifestyle I think is better suited for most single guys. Now, when you find a serious relationship, whether it be just a long-term live-in partner or you get married, then I think for a lot of people, most people are better suited maybe living out in the province, maybe not far out in the province, still near the city, but that type of lifestyle seems to be more suited for the guys in a long-term relationship, married or otherwise. Let's go ahead and take a look at my screen so I can show you what I am talking about here. All right, first up, we have the rent or mortgage, which is sitting at 400 US dollars. Now, I put the whole thing in US dollars, not pesos, because I figured it's just easier to kind of convert for most people. They can convert the dollars into your own currency rather than pesos, which is a higher number. So it's just an easier number to play with. So this is in a high-end condo in Mactan Newtown in Lapu-Lapu, which is outside of Cebu City. A lot of people mistake. They think I live in Cebu City. I don't. I live on a little island called Lapu-Lapu, which is about 30 to 45 minutes away from Cebu City, depending on traffic. Advantages there, it's still a pretty big city. The big city is nearby. There's a lot of shopping malls. There's a lot of restaurants. Dating would be phenomenal. There's a lot of good condos. The ocean is here. And so I really like it. Now, there are dating expenses, and I'll get into that in a second. And I'm going to tell you why condo living can actually be cheaper for dating than living out in the province or what have you. So let's go ahead and, again, look at the rent. Now, the rent normally is more expensive at this place pre-pandemic. During the pandemic, the prices have dropped 40% or so, and I am sitting at $400. If you guys want to check out my condo video, I'll link it up above, where you can get a detailed look at my condo and the amenities that come with this place. But $400 for the rent. Next up, we have electric, sitting at $75. I've had a couple of months of electric bills, and it seems to be hovering right around that area. Now, I will tell you, I'm in the middle, so I've got a condo on my right, a condo on my left. That makes the aircon a little bit, or the electric bill a little smaller, because I don't have the direct sunlight coming on both sides. I'm protected from two other condo units. Right now, I don't have neighbors on either side of me, so I don't have any noise to contend with. I also don't have the direct sun coming in. I'm blocked by another building in the street there. Now, my friend Paul chose a condo facing the other end, or the other side, and he's got direct sunlight coming in. There's no buildings to protect it, so his electric bill is actually higher. Something to consider if you're going to move into a condo. All right, do you have neighbors on the side blocking the sun? Do you have a building blocking the sun from your balcony? Are you getting direct heat, direct sunlight? Something to consider. Water. I take several showers a day sometimes. Typically 2 showers, morning, evening, sometimes even more if I'm out and about during the day and I get sweaty. So $10 a month. The water is quite inexpensive here. Cell phone. So I have, of course, I've got internet here in the condo, but on my phone, I run with a pretty high data plan. Most of you probably don't even need this much. Most of you could probably run off of about $10 a month, 500 pesos. I go ahead and load up with a big plan. So I've got a lot of calls, texts, and a lot of data to use when I'm out and about. So $20, that's a far cry from what I was paying in the US. Again, a lot of people in the West will have a plan where they're paying monthly payments on their phone. Here, still very much a cash society. You don't really use credit for a lot of that stuff. Groceries. As a single guy, I rarely eat inside my condo all the meals. And so typically and I'm actually being less conservative. I'm actually giving it probably more on the high end than what I actually spend on groceries, but I put it down at 250. That's about ballpark. Typically, I don't eat 3 meals a day. I am kind of a person that I wake up, I don't really feel hungry. I usually suffice with something small like a banana, a coffee, which I sometimes go out. I come back and I eat like kind of a brunch, kind of a breakfast lunch thing, and then I don't eat again till dinner and I'm done. So typically it's like 2 meals a day. I eat pretty inexpensively, typically just eggs, hash browns for like my brunch, a banana sometimes in the morning if I'm hungry, coffee. I don't really have a whole lot of, I don't have real expensive taste when it comes to groceries and eating out. Internet, $40 a month. So that's 35 megabytes up, 35 megabytes down. That's fiber, unlimited. It works just fine for what I need it to work as, for streaming, teaching online, video calls with family, things like that. Works perfectly, streaming my Hulu, Amazon, Netflix. So it works just fine. Motorbike fuel. I find myself parking my motorbike quite often and not even using it sometimes for days on end, because everything is here in Mocktown, Newtown. I can walk to the coffee shop, walk to the restaurant, and I'm good. So typically $15 a month. And that averages out even when I headed down to Oslo and Wall and took a trip. So now motorbike parking is actually expensive. The parking garage here actually runs about 4,000 to 5,000 pesos a month, $80 to $100. We talked them down to $80. I do split a parking spot with Paul currently. Now, when he goes his way and I go my way, at some point, I will either incur that whole amount or he will incur that whole amount. So typically, you're probably, if you want garage parking at a condo, expect to pay around $80 or so, unless you can find somebody to split with, which is ideal, because really it's a parking spot designed for a car, not for really a motorbike. So, we've got 3 motorbikes in the spot, so I'm paying $40 for that. Travel and medical insurance, I highly recommend this, not only pre-pandemic, but now almost most definitely post-pandemic. It's probably going to be a requirement to travel to most countries now. Thailand's already making a requirement. Vietnam's talking about it. Malaysia probably. A lot of countries are making this a mandatory thing. Philippines, I haven't heard anything about yet, but even if they don't require it, it is something that you should have. I do like the travel medical aspect because it follows me wherever I go. Even if I go back to the US for a couple of weeks, it's covering me. Covers more than just medical. It covers lost luggage, trip interruption, things like that. You can get a quote down in the description. There's a link, and you guys can check that out as well. Now, it goes off of age. Now, when I turn 50 later on this year, it is going to go up to about 101. So you do have to account for that. Haircuts, extremely cheap in the Philippines. Typically 50 pesos to 100 pesos will get you a haircut at any of these barbershops along the sides of the road. If you want to go into the mall, you're going to pay not Western prices, but you're going to pay probably 5 times the amount what you would pay along the road here at one of these local barbershops. I typically get a haircut about every 10 days, about every 2 weeks, just to keep it neat. It's so cheap anyway. So I put down $10 because I get haircuts frequently and I do leave a decent tip. Personal care, I account for that, like shampoo, toothpaste, toilet toiletries, you know, soap, things like that. I don't have a lot of hair, so there's not a lot. I don't use a lot of shampoo, right? $50 a month suffices for that. Entertainment. Now, entertainment for me, and I'm going to get more into this a little bit later, but entertainment for me is Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, HBO Max. That's what I use for entertainment. We'll talk more about entertainment here in a second, but dating, $150. So here's where I'll get a little bit more detailed about condo life actually being cheaper for dating. And here's what I mean by that. Okay, so number one, we've got the swimming pool here. There's no charge. So if I have somebody come over, I meet somebody, we meet for coffee, we get along great, and I say, hey, let's go swimming. There's no charge to come swim at my place. Now, if you were living out in the province or something and you wanted to go take her to a place to go swimming, guess what? You're paying entrance fees for both of you. You're probably getting some food. I've got snacks here. We can go swim at the pool. We can come up here and we can watch Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and trust me, they're blown away. They're sitting in aircon in a comfortable place. They just went swimming at your pool, and they're loving life. Trust me, they're enjoying it. So dating for me, believe it or not, the prices, the cost, in my opinion, has come down. Now, if you want to take them out for dinner and stuff, yes. In the city, you're going to pay a little bit more than what you would in a province. Most Filipina girls, you don't need to blow them away with a fancy restaurant. They are happy just with a simple restaurant. In fact, most of them really feel like a fish out of water if you take them to a place that's too fancy, unless they are well traveled or they've had a foreign boyfriend before, perhaps. So dating for me, $150. Now, I kind of include like trips on that too. So often, if I've met a girl and things are going great, and we take like a day trip someplace or something. Dining out, I spend about $100 a month. Typically, it's just me. I have no problem going to a restaurant and sitting by myself. I really don't. A lot of people feel uncomfortable with that. I have no problem going to a restaurant. I'm a people watcher. Here in Mactan, Newtown, I can hang out at a restaurant, watch the people go on by. I like to hang out at Starbucks, the Civet, different Tom and Tom's coffee shops, just watch the people go on by. And that's entertainment for me as well. Coffee is kind of a big expense for me. Typically, I will just have a coffee here in the morning if I don't have a lot going on. Sometimes I like to just go out. Again, this is part of entertainment for me. Coffee, I like to go out to the Civet, Tom and Tom's, sometimes Starbucks, and just sit and watch the people go by. It's and hang out with a buddy and chat. Travel. Now, I have been going more and more places. So I had travel for the month of May at around $200 because I did travel a little bit. Visa fees, I average out about $40. Some people will have that lower. I have it at about $40 because the express lane, sometimes you have to pay to expedite, or you've got your ACR card, you got to renew. I averaged it around $40 a month. So that's what we're looking at. If you guys can think of something I missed, please add it down, comment down below, let me know. But I have the monthly expenses for May at $1,577. Okay. Can I cut back on this? I could probably cut back several $100s and cut it way back. Do I need to spend $60 in coffee? No. Dining out, travel, I could cut these easily in half. Dating, I could make that even cheaper and just really just cook for them here, hang out and swim and go to other places. The beach is free here in Mactan, Newtown. You can also take them to the beach, swimming, watch a movie. There's a lot of things to do in the Philippines that really don't cost anything or are extremely cheap. You do save money also if you have your own motorbike or transportation, because that does cut down bus fees, taxi fees, things like that. Things I don't want to skimp on. I don't want to skimp on my travel and medical insurance. The internet, I need that. Groceries, again, I could cut it down a little bit and eat a little bit more of a Filipino type diet. Sometimes I do like to go to the local markets, and I do save money that way by getting fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, things like that. I did a video on that. You guys can check that out in my playlist. And electric, I could be a little more cost conscious on electric rent. There's really not a room. There's no room for play there. Again, I'm going to get comments all the time saying you pay way too much for the Philippines. Maybe for some people. For me, I live a very, very comfortable, happy life, and I like it. And I'm not going to change anything. For me, it suits me just fine. When I was in Dumaguete, I could spend less. You know, during the pandemic, I spent way less because, of course, there was no traveling or going out or dining out or any of that. It was pretty much cooking at home. Entertainment was Netflix. A lot of people can live out in the province. They could live for probably half of this. We can have that argument all day. People sometimes even get angry at me in the comments saying, it's a bunch of bull that you advertise that you need this amount to live. No, you don't. To live a more comfortable Western type lifestyle with coverage for medical and you know, good internet and things like that, then yeah, you do need to spend a little bit more. So questions, comments, guys, go ahead and comment down below. I would argue again that living in a condo for me and also outside the city or within the city is better for dating just by sheer number of single Filipinas or Filipinas living here. Also, living in a condo, you know, you got the pool and everything. It's you got security. It just makes for better dating, in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. This has been my budget for the month of May. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Let's take it real soon.